You guys are just gonna have to watch this one for yourselves.
I met Corbin when I was still in college. We vibed right away.
It was hard to do long distance. We wanted to make it work, but there was just too much jealousy.
Eventually, I suspected that Corbin was cheating on me, so I hired someone to seduce him.
Hmm. Bro, who does that, bro? Who even does that, man? Crazy insecure woman. That's who does that, in case you didn't realize.
But I never cheated. I miss her, and I think if we can trust each other, we can really have something special. I want to see if she'll give us a second chance.
So are you ready to be honest and tell me that you're cheating on me?
Is that how we're going to start this off?
Yeah, that is it. We haven't talked about it yet.
I didn't cheat on you.
I know that you did.
How do you know this?
Because the girl you cheated with, I paid her $50 to hit on you.
Why would you pay a girl to talk to me?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, man. I'm really trying to. I'm trying to crack that case right now because I'm just baffled. Couldn't even fucking believe it that she would do such a thing. Now, the more I thought about it, the more I guess conjecture and wild conclusions I come to. But I have to suspect that it seems that this woman was far more interested in proving this man wrong than she was in honestly trying to have a good functioning relationship with him. Because I mean, if she was actually honestly trying to have a good relationship with him, the idea to hire a woman to sleep with her boyfriend would have never came to her fucking mind. That is just outlandish. That's so outlandish. I don't even. Who does that, bruh? Who even does that?
That's some crazy.
You were giving off horrible energy, and it had a series of events leading up to that.
Pause right here because I've noticed you have some of these ladies who are into their horoscopes, into their tarot cards, their crystal healing. You know what I mean? You got these ladies who feel energy and, or they feel vibes and everything. And here's the thing. I mean, women are, in general, not necessarily the case, but in general, are oftentimes more attuned or more akin to reading and picking up on body language and emotional atmospheres. I mean, 100%. This is mostly women's domain in their area. It's kind of eerie sometimes to see how women can switch and swap in certain social situations based on atmosphere shifts, but in that reasonable area with some of these women and their whole energy sensing thing, like they're fucking from Dragon Ball Z, you've got these other women who more, dare I say, make shit up. And it's a crude way to put it, but it's more like they get reactions from the guys that they're with, and because they feel a particular way, they project that feeling onto the guy's actions and what's going on. And you'll see in a second what's about to happen and what I mean by that. She gives you a brief example. But a lot of the times, that's what a lot of this, bad energy comes off. It's not so much that the guy is actually doing anything wrong or doing anything in particularly wrong, but there are some actions that are being misinterpreted or misconstrued in order to build up a case. Obviously, now why is this? Mostly because a lot of ladies, as you know, if you've been on my channel for a while, love to play the victim. They love it. They need to be underdog because that's the only way they gain sympathy. That's the only way they gain any moral authority. They have to be underdog, getting one over on top dog. And that's clearly what this was with her hiring some woman to hit on her boyfriend and the whole bad energy thing. That's just her coming up with some nonsense to say, this is why I felt this way. But which you'll see. It's going to be kind of funny when you guys see it. In fact, let's go.
A series of
you
events.
Flirting with other girls, you eyeing other girls.
Who would I ever flirt with?
Oh my gosh, all the girls at your gym?
You're not at the gym, so how can you say
There you go. That's a good question, though. Honestly.
On Instagram. I've seen it.
What do you mean?
You're over there liking all these girls' Instagram pictures, your workout buddies with all these different girls at your gym.
I want to say something very interesting. A lot of ladies have quite the disdain for men liking photos on Instagram, but a lot of women just kind of don't seem to grasp that liking a picture, or even like porn consumption, like if you're married or in a relationship, it doesn't mean anything apart from the fact that like you like the way the woman looks. Like as men, like we're not emotionally invested usually. Now, I have talked about men who do become emotionally invested in these women, but usually, like, men are not emotionally, like, invested into women they like on Instagram or liking a girl's picture. Sometimes, especially, particularly, which you'll see in a second, it makes sense for him to like these pictures. But a lot of girls, they put a lot of stock on Instagram, or they put a lot of stock in, like, porn consumption, and some women just kind of have to grasp that, like, as men, we can appreciate, like, women in different forms. I mean, we have no emotional connection to hot women. In fact, most of the time, it's the opposite. Like, kind of one of the worst things you can be as a woman is to be super hot, because most of the time, all everyone ever is going to try to do is just, like, have sex with you and leave, which is a sad truth, but a truth nonetheless. You know, so a lot of women, like, they put such stock on liking Instagram photos when the reality is, it's just, you know, it's not worth it. It's not anything to us. We just think that the woman looks good. She looks pretty. That's it. It begins and ends there, you know, and a lot of women don't understand that. And I think the reason why is because I think, as I've said numerous times before, it seems to be more of a confirmation of what I've been saying for years now. Women, especially her, she's a very beautiful woman, but she very clearly does not value herself at all. And how I come to this conclusion, I'll explain in a second. But she very clearly doesn't value herself at all. It seems like she only recognizes that she's a beautiful person, which is why she's threatened by him liking other pictures on Instagram. Why? Because there are other pretty women. And as a beautiful woman, you have to realize, you know, your power is only as strong as someone is attracted to you. When they lose that attraction, or they see someone prettier, what can you do to keep them there? You can't do anything. And that is a huge insecurity that seems to be pretty clear in her. How I know, again, she's upset over fucking Instagram likes. Like, come on, like, clearly she values Instagram and physical attraction more than moral character. And which, again, you guys will see as the video goes on. She'll continue.
And you're literally posting thirst traps, like ab pigs, like, like.
I'm a trainer. I have a fitness Instagram. So when I see other people that have fitness pages,
so you're gonna
it's
like,
called
oh,
building them up.
sexy girl, oh, whatever, you're so sexy, you're gonna like that?
It's for work. It's innocent flirting and help me get clients to continue to make money.
As you can see, she's just kind of misconstruing a bunch of these different details in order to create her narrative. I mean, she has to, because otherwise she wouldn't be the underdog.
What is, like, respectful in a relationship? Like,
Trusting the person
guidelines?
and not paying somebody to see if they would cheat.
But it happened.
Not true.
You went on a date with this girl.
It wasn't a date.
She literally told me that you took her out to eat.
No.
Yeah, and you guys hooked up. You can't sit here and deny that. Paula, can you tell him what you told me?
So I pretty much told her that you took me to this really fancy restaurant, and afterwards we went back to my place and hooked up.
And that he came on to you in the car and you guys are kissing.
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Why would you sit here and lie?
I lied because
So you weren't telling the truth?
I didn't think that she deserved you, so I lied.
Oh my God.
Clearly, she doesn't value the faithful, amazing man that you are.
Now, I understand what she did was wrong, clearly, but she does raise a very good point. Our young lady here, Alicia, does not appreciate this son of a bitch at all. I mean, if she did, she certainly wouldn't have paid someone $50 to go hit on them. And if she really valued this individual and she really trusted him, they wouldn't even be having this conversation. I do find it particularly interesting that this woman was more concerned with proving her ex-boyfriend wrong than she was honestly trusting the person and loving them. And there's a particularly simple and understandable reason as to why, and I think it's because this relationship in general isn't really based on any degree of moral character or any foundation beyond the fact that they're attractive people. Again, how can I tell? Once again, this young lady is only concerned with the fact that he was cheating, and she didn't trust the guy at all. And if the guy meant anything in particular to her, apart from the fact that, like, he gave her validation for being an attractive woman, they wouldn't even be having this conversation. Because she would have known that this was a lie. It seems pretty simple and obvious to me. I don't know. It wasn't obvious to anyone else.
I thought, maybe I have a chance because...
So you thought you had a chance with him, so you're trying to home wreck us so that you can be with him?
Wow.
Thanks.
You know, what you did was wrong, but you did give her the keys to the house, motherfucker. Like, you can't really... You gotta take responsibility for that. Take responsibility for her actions. What am I talking about?
She lied to my face.
And what have I been saying?
All right, well, I'm sorry for doing that and making it go that far instead of talking to you about it.
Can I get some syrup with that dry ass apology? What the fuck was that?
When I feel like someone's pulling away, I'll just pull away too. We were long distance, and I see you liking all Instagram girls' pictures, and you were not texting me as much, not calling me.
Now, this is a defense mechanism I've noticed a lot of people gain after having lots of failed relationships or having very, very poor self-esteem and self-image. Like, the thing is, some people don't want to become vulnerable to other individuals. They don't want to emotionally attach because they're scared the person's going to leave. And a lot of the times, the reason why these people are scared that the people are going to leave is because they feel like they don't have anything in particular to keep them around. And this is insecurity I've talked about with a lot of pretty women just over the course of the years, but now you guys really see this shit like in a pretty raw, and I think a pretty good example. Well, I wouldn't say pretty good example, but pretty extreme example, because again, hiring someone to hit on your boyfriend, that's just some crazy fucking shit. Excuse me. But the point being, again, I mean, it's a very simple, short-sighted thing that she said here. She feels like she needs to pull away. It's a defense mechanism. She's trying to protect herself and protect her ego because she doesn't want to face the reality or deal with the reality that she's not pretty enough or that she's not good enough for this attractive individual here. And I mean, like, we can all pattern recognize he's a pretty good-looking guy. Another element that I want to sprinkle in here is that the way a lot of women compete with other women, which, again, we saw in the video with Dio coming out saying that she lied. No, but seriously, with the woman lying about it is, again, women compete with other women, with men. It's interesting because you see a lot of feminists complain about, or maybe in the past you did, see them complain about objectification. But there's hardly ever any talk about how women objectify men in a very similar manner. You could argue that this degree of objectification is the modern woman trying to become more masculine and thus trying to objectify men the same way they believe men objectify them, as in pretty things to look at and affirm their identity. But you do have women objectifying men in this way and obtaining really, really popular or high status men, again, only as a validation machine in order to say, hey, look, I'm a pretty person. Look how great I am. I got this guy. Young men do this too. Again, it's not really a male-female thing, but women compete a little more viciously than men compete. You know, most men, I mean, they might be able to say I pull more girls or I'll steal your girl, but they're not really actually doing that. I mean, maybe some are, but not normally. It's more rapper bullshit. But women actually, he's on here, will, try to, be Mr. Steal Your Man. Or Mrs. Steal Your Man, I think better to say.
I was working a lot, but that doesn't mean I was cheating on you.
I'm really sorry.
Okay, I felt that one just a little bit more. Just a little bit.
I mean, I appreciate your apology. It takes a lot to apologize.
And, well, it seems that I was on Brett's side this whole time. This is where he fucks up. He fucks up right good right here.
Especially, after all of that. I didn't fully understand, everything that was going on. But now that I do, it clearly makes sense as to why you were so upset. And it really just comes down to a communication issue.
Nah, nigga, that comes down to a devoid of self-esteem issues. And loads of insecurity, bruh. You don't hire someone to go and flirt with your boyfriend because of communication issues, bruh. There's something going on there. Something deep. And it's pretty simple, pretty obvious. I say deep, but I mean, it's certainly deeper than the fact that we were on different wavelengths. And honestly, what he should have done here, which he doesn't, is curb the fuck out of this woman, but instead he does this.
And that doesn't seem like a good enough reason to throw everything that we had away. I miss you so much.
Yeah, I miss you a lot. Stop being awkward.
I want you to give us a second chance.
Nah, nigga, that is an excellent reason to throw everything you had away. And you guys might think I'm being really harsh or being really hard-edged, but first of all, I do not care for the wiles of a beautiful woman. If you're a vile person, you're a vile person. Simple as that. And more importantly than that, it might sound like I'm being a moral faggot, but legitimately, let's be real. If this woman will go to this links here in order to prove herself right, I'm not really sure if she even learned a lesson or if she even accepted responsibility for what she just did here. No matter how you slice it, this woman took the word of someone that she barely knew and paid over the word of this man that she's supposed to love or respect or have some type of relationship with. I mean, that alone just kind of shows that she is more concerned with proving that men are bad than she really is in having an honest or good relationship. I think what happens with a lot of women, and it seems in this one in particular, a lot of women have this heuristic of men, and that is men are cheaters, men are going to hurt them, men are emotional abusers, and blah blah bullshit. And some of them become more concerned with proving themselves right and as a justification as to why they pull away or why they're so emotionally defensive, rather than honestly like accepting the love and trust of men, and how men more often than not are actually going to like women longer than they're ever going to treat women badly or disdain them. The type of men who do particularly do this are oftentimes more attractive men who have lots of options to date multiple women, and thus it's interestingly enough, it just kind of comes to the same actually, I think it's just a lot of women kind of dealing with the same shit normal men have to deal with, now that I think about it. But I might have to go over that in its own video. I think specifically talking about this lady here, it's very obvious to me that this woman clearly is suffering from the beautiful insecurity that I have. I don't really have a word for it, but the insecurity that when you're a hollow person, or you feel like you don't have like much to offer, you become very insecure. And I think this mixed in with her heuristic of men being awful, terrible people. So she was more concerned with trying to prove them to be terrible, more so than she was honestly trying to have a good relationship. And the ultimate problem as to why, or the ultimate reason as to why I say homeboy here should have curbed the flock out of this girl, is because no amount of communication or just chatting is going to ever fix the fact that this woman feels inadequate. I know she feels inadequate because, again, she's more concerned with this guy cheating than she is any other characteristic or anything else about this person. And if she really cared about this person, if they both had any degree of moral character, well, he's pretty strong moral character, he did tell the truth. But if she had any moral character, for starters, I mean, she wouldn't have given that weak-ass apology. I mean, from the start, she wouldn't have done the fucking thing she did in the first place. More importantly than that, it just kind of doesn't seem like she really took into consideration what she did and just kind of how fucked up it was. Because honestly, that's a pretty big leap in mistrust in someone to hire an individual to go cheat with them. That's a little much. And it just kind of seems very clear to me like where her headspace is at. Even though this video isn't very long and they don't really talk much, I don't know, it's clear as day for me. I mean, she's also an Instagram model, so the reason why I made this video is because I kind of want to, I noticed I spend a lot of time talking about these insecurities, but I don't oftentimes always have like faces and examples to give to you guys. And I think this video was really good because it gave a face and it gave an example of kind of multiple different ideas I've talked about over the years. And hopefully I can find some more of these little bite-sized videos to do and comment on, because there's some really good stuff in here. I really like it. It's probably not the most in-depth video you've ever seen me do, but I do think, again, as a confirmation of the things I've said, Alicia here, it's a very good example, and I really liked it. So with that being said, I assume you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comments below. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.